Welcome back to Nerdstorm Entertainment, everybody. I am Nerdstorm92, and today we are going to be breaking down and discussing Hogwarts Legacy. That we're going to be talking about the gameplay, the story, the pros and cons, and what we would like to see in a future sequel of this game. And today I have here with me my good friend CGDannyB. What's going on, man?
I can talk now. Guys, he told me I wasn't allowed to talk, so I 100%. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Definitely excited to play this game. I finally beat it last week. I was watching your stream last night, so yeah.
Yeah, so as of recording this, I just rolled credits last night, and we were talking just before. I was like a lot of bit sick last week, and I'm like, I gotta finish this fucking game before next week, and I can't look at the TV. I'm so sick. So I was like, I gotta knock this out, chat. Listen, I know we want to play indies, but I gotta knock out Hogwarts Legacy tonight.
Yeah, man. Like let's break down the story real quick. So
sure.
I don't know how I feel about the story. I'm not gonna sit there and say it was basic, but it was basic.
I can say, and I mentioned this last night, and like chat was kind of like on the same page as me. I was so minimally invested in the narrative of this game. Like when you start off, you get this cool cutscene, you're hopping in the carriage, the dragon eats the dude, like, oh my god, what's happening? Right. And like kind of once you get in and you get your house assignment, it's very just like generic, bland, hey, fifth year, come here, let's talk. And like, if I could tell you how many times, I wish there was an input option. Like how many times did I hit triangle in this game to skip through dialogue? Because I didn't care. It was just people talking at me, and then I'm like, all right, cool, let me go do the magic stuff. So like I can remember moments, we go into the map chamber, I'm like, this is cool. There were some phenomenal set pieces going through the story. Definitely. But like I'm sitting here thinking, and this isn't even a main story one, but there's a side mission called Mind Your Own Business, where like you open your own shop in Hogsmeade.
Yes.
And that mission my God. Is so cool. It's very much like Control, right? Like the when you're spinning these cameras, you look away, you turn back, wait, there's a wall, I thought there was a door, you turn again, there's like 50 mannequins chasing after you. I'm like, this is so cool. This is my favorite mission bar none. And that wasn't even part of the main stuff.
Yeah.
I wish the main story took a lot more of like the interesting, and there are some, like there's one when you jump into a book, that was very cool, the art style for that one.
Oh yeah, I love that one. Because it was kind of going over like the Deathly Hallows thing with the Elder Wand, the cloak and everything. So yeah, I definitely
they gave you the cloak. I thought I unlocked the cloak. I was like, yes, finally, I can get rid of I can take off this invisibility spell and put something good on here. It's like, oh no, I don't get to keep it. Damn.
It's just for this mission. Fuck.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel the same way. I feel the same way. It just, I'm not gonna sit there and say it was lackluster, but I will say it was definitely, your average, a very average story. Now, like you were saying, the side stories, side quests, and all that stuff were more interesting to me. Like you were saying with that mission where you got your own shop and everything, that was definitely one of my favorites. And obviously, as everybody's gonna sit there and say the Sebastian missions, I definitely made sure I did those every time I got an alpha Sebastian. I dropped everything. Sebastian's in trouble, run.
I honestly had screwed up at one point because, again, like I said, I spam triangle so much just get through dialogue, and then I just like quickly click X to like get through whatever choices. And for the second one, not Crucio, whatever the second dark spell you get is.
Imperial,
Imperial, yeah. I messed up and said, no, I don't want to learn that. And then we started the fight. I'm like, uh-oh, hold on. So I like reload a checkpoint. He's like, man, I don't know. He's like, yeah, give me the spell. I'm like, oh God, I almost fucked up. Yikes. But yeah, dude, I chat yelled at me because I fucking spoilers for anyone who hasn't played. I fucking snitched on Sebastian, bro. Squealing dog, like, should we turn him in? I'm like, damn right, we should turn him in. Hell yeah. And everyone's like, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, I just fucking did. What's he gonna do? He's in jail now. Stop me.
I was doing the whole Dark Wizard playthrough. Like, I made sure, like, especially with the Sebastian missions, I was making sure I said the nastiest thing, like, all the time. Even though, like, this kind of, like, kills me. And honestly, it kills me about, like, a lot of, RPGs where you have dialogue choices, but then your character doesn't specifically say or, like, the same things that you want them to say from that dialogue choice. So it was like, oh, I sit here, I want to be real nasty, and then the character says something kind of nasty, but it's nowhere near what you thought it was going to say. Like that kind of irritated me. But I did like you were saying, I chose all the bad dialogue options and whatnot, especially for, like I said, the Sebastian mission. Like that was definitely one of my favorite set pieces, especially like at the end where he killed his uncle. I was like, yeah, because he was an asshole. Yeah, do it. Oh man, dude, I was so happy.
I tried to do like almost the opposite. I was trying to be not necessarily nice to everybody, but like, I was like, I don't want to be mean, right? But every side quest, like usually when you finish it, they're like, hey, it wasn't a problem, or it's like, yo, I'd like some compensation for my efforts, right? So if I could, I'd be like, hey, I wouldn't mind to get paid for this. And like, I think there was one he had to like go get some dude's like watch or some jewelry from like his grandpa or something, and I came back. And he was just, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting paid for this. He's like, oh, I really can't afford much. And then the options are like, you know what? Never mind. I don't need the money. He's like, sell the fucking watch then. I'm like, I just went and got the watch for him. I don't want to tell him to sell it. I'm like, yeah, don't even worry about it. I'm too nice. Don't worry. I'm good. I'm a school student. I don't need your money. See ya. Have a good day.
No, the mission for me where like I really felt like a bad guy is the one where I think you go and get the girl's diary or something, and you could choose whether or not to give it back to her. I did not give it back to her. I said maybe I should keep this and read through it. She's like, no.
No, please. I wrote about my crush in there. Give it back.
But yeah, like we were saying, the whole main story is just it wasn't necessarily bad, but it was just very average, and the side quests definitely were, a lot more interesting. Like I obviously haven't finished all the side quests that I have available, but I'm gonna probably go back and get through a majority of them, or at least the ones that I can, because of the fact that like we're saying, they're a lot more interesting than the side story, and to kind of go along with that. How did you feel about the ending of the game?
I think that final fight is really cool, right? Because I wasn't prepared for it. I was in the spot of like, I'm talking to Chad, just letting the cutscene run and whatever's happening. And then, this final fight starts to happen. I thought it was really cool. It did feel almost just immediate. Like, I feel like we had this big fight. We had this cool, like, hey, it wasn't one of those things where the game adds a new mechanic that we haven't done before. Like, it was like, this is what you're used to, this is what you're sticking with, enjoy the fight. It was really cool. And then when it finished, I like ended up back at Hogwarts. Let's cover in memoriam, and then I was talking to Ominous, like, oh man, what should we do about Sebastian? And then it was like, hey, and explore the world. I'm like, oh, that just kind of happened real quick. I feel like there wasn't like a nice resolution at the end. I did enjoy the final mission, but yeah, I just like, I felt shoehorned back in like really quick.
Yeah, I felt the same way, and I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. I wouldn't say that it was bad or anything, but the way that they kind of did the story at the end, where I think his name was Ragnarok or something.
Yeah,
Ranrock. So yeah, I really feel like his whole reasoning behind doing everything, especially at the end, I kind of feel like it just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't really feel like his whole decisions and whatnot really led to anything.
Sure.
I don't know if you felt the same way, but it just seemed like, oh hey, we got this Goblin Rebellion. And then it just kind of seemed like it just ended out of nowhere, because they sat there and got the drill or whatever really fast. I feel like I feel like all that just kind of, especially like once you got towards the end of the game, everything just started like just rolling.
I think like a mission before you like break the drill is like, fine, we'll just make another one, and by that I mean I have one in my back pocket. It's just
right.
Like I think that might come out to the pacing in the game. So I was saying earlier, like the game starts like crazy cutscenes. You're getting in your house. You're so excited to be in the Hogwarts. And then once you kind of get like into the meat and potatoes, it's very just repetitive in the go out to town. Hey, can you find my animal? Go out to town. Hey, can you find my grandpa's watch? Hey, can you go kill 5 bad guys with this spell, and then I'll teach you a new one. And like the whole middle section of this game gets like super repetitive. And I think for the gamer who sits down to play it, you see this list of things to do and you're kind of like, I need to do all these now if I want to get any new spells, if I want to get my broom, if I want to get other mounts I can get, etc., etc. Where I think the game wants me to pace it out more and do like 3, do a main story quest, do like 3, do a main story quest. I did like what feels like 50 side quests before I went on to like one of the main story missions. I'm like, oh cool, I have like 9 spells already. I already have this whole thing situated. So I think there was kind of a weird padding of how the side quests were like put into the game, but I think that just comes down to like player choice and how you choose to pace yourself.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and I guess you could say because I was trying to get through the story, to be able to do this review and whatnot.
And like that streamer mode of like you got to get to the main points, and I'll do cleanup later for sure, absolutely. Yeah,
but it's just I like you were saying, I feel like the main story just wasn't paced as well as it could have been. Mm-hmm. I genuinely feel like there could have been a bit more story content thrown in, especially in the middle. Yeah, because it just things got a little stale, and honestly things started to pick up for me. I want to say around that mission where you get and you end up finding your where you get the shop. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I still feel like it was definitely an okay game. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, critiques and criticisms aside, like, you always want to, we can sit here and harp on all the good things that people are already saying, the IGNs, the GameSpots talking about, like, here's what I loved. Like, I did enjoy this game. I thought this game was really fun. Aside from the, like, I just really didn't feel connected with the dialogue. Like, I really didn't care what people had to say to me or what, my character say to other people. I was just more invested in the gameplay of, let me run in, find a bunch of bad wizards or goblins or whatever, trolls, and just start blowing them up with magic spells. I think those were fun. Like, those moments were what had me excited to come back and play more Hogwarts Legacy, not so much the narrative plot points, which maybe someone who's like a bigger fan of Harry Potter, I didn't see those movies until I was like 18, like for the first time. So like, I'm not really invested in the world like some people are that have watched since they were like kids. So maybe it's more magical for people who have that familiar attachment to it. Yeah, maybe it was intended. You don't know. But yeah, I definitely think people have a better connection.
I'm the same way. I'm not the biggest, Harry Potter fan. I mainly wanted to play this game, solely for the fact that, as far as the character creation, it's literally one of the first times that we literally have good black hairstyles, good, black hair texture. I was like, yeah, I could actually create an actual good looking black person instead of some basic, guy with a buzz cut or some fugly looking, cornrows.
It was because I think you were in my chat when I was making my character, and I was just like, man, I shaved my head bald, but like, I'm gonna go hard on this. So I was like, dread, I'm looking like Nerdstorm up in here, but I'm about to leave these dreads on, man.
But as far as the gameplay, like you were saying, I had a blast. I feel like the actual gameplay itself was definitely the high point of this game. The way you're using your spells, just the different things that you could, the different combinations that you could do with the spells. I felt like that was very, very well done. And I said, I feel like that's the high point of the game.
Yeah, I think when it came to the spells, the only real thing I'd want to change, and maybe this is transitioning into like, what would we want from the next game? But I think there were some spells that felt so essential that I feel like they shouldn't have been on like my weapon wheel of choices. Yeah. So I think of things like Wingardium Leviosa. Like you start with Levioso, I believe is the spell. That's like my main wheel was Incendio, Levioso, Accio, and some other kind of red damage attack. So I was always like, lift them up, shoot them, pull them in, blast them, and repeat. Like that was my main combat style. But then there were times where I'm like, I'm running around the world. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta lift this box. And then I'd have to like go into my menus, put on the spells that I needed, and then quickly change that. So like, I think if there was an option for either like a loadout per se, where I can have like, these are the weapons I want on this wheel, and kind of like unplug it, plug like an attack spell in, and then when I need it for like puzzles, unplug and put in the one I need. Or I should just be able to walk up to a box and like hold circle, which will automatically activate, Wingardium Leviosa or Reparo or stuff that's like, not that I'm going to use in combat or use more often, but when it comes to a puzzle situation, I'm like, oh cool, I don't have to go into my menus and faff about to put the thing on that I want.
exactly mid battle.
Right. You know, yeah. And like times I'm like, I need to put on my free spell. Like that could be on my second wheel. I can put on, you know, Avada Kedavra on my third one. I'm like, I just feel like blasting this dude's skull. Bam, you know. But again, or like the animal feeding ones, right? We had the brush. Like I had a whole wheel dedicated to those. But then I have to switch those out for the room requirement, right? Where it's like, oh, cool, now I gotta pick up a table, move a table, delete a table, rotate a table. I like the table when it's yellow, not green, and whatever. So like, I think those could be menus that are situational as opposed to, oh, I got to take up a whole slot on my magic wheel that I could use.
Yeah, I genuinely feel that the 4 slots that we got, you know, that were assigned to the directional pads or what, you know, what have you, I genuinely feel that was way too little because the amount of combinations that you can have in this game, especially when it comes to like spell combat, you know, you could have definitely have used more than just those 4 slots. Like you said, if there was like a loadout or something like that, that would have definitely been, you know, that would have definitely been ideal. And then like you said, left the other spells like for the room of requirement or, you know, the ones that you fed your animals and brushed and all that stuff. But that was set something, you know, if that was set to the side, that would have been really that would have been ideal. But again, you know, mid battle, for me, I know there were multiple times where like I would be mid battle, I'm like, oh crap, I still have my room of requirement spells attached to this, so let me open up my spell menu real quick and then move them around and then go out dodge roll so I can, you know, miss an attack and then go right back into battle. So yeah, I feel like that was, you know, something that could be, you know, updated in the next game if and when they do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as you know, we've already talked about, you know, the gameplay and pros and cons. What else do you think that you would be looking for in the next game?
I think it's hard to think what the next game would look like yet until like I'm still haven't completed the game yet. I'm at the spot where it's like I've beaten the final boss and they're like, get to level 34 to do the Wizard Cup, you know, and, you know, get prepared for that. So until I know what happens after that, I don't know if we work towards graduation, if we like pick up where we left off and that was a new threat, if we're playing my character's older now and we're picking up, you know, 10 years after like I've graduated Hogwarts and now I'm like a full-fledged wizard. I think opening the world like that to be more, I'm outside of school and I'm doing, you know, I'm in a big adult wizard problems, I think it'd be really cool because I think it heightens the stakes a little bit more for like, you can only like challenge. I mean, listen, your character in this game didn't go through nothing. They went through some crazy stuff.
Exactly.
But even like heightening the stakes for like, oh, you're an adult now, like there's no holding back type of thing, I think could be really cool for a narrative thing to really make the world feel even bigger than it already is in this game. I still haven't even touched every inch of this map. It's fucking huge.
Right.
But until like I see what exactly the end of our character is in this game, when I like, you know, go for the platinum, I think it's tough to call what exactly should be done next. But I'm definitely interested in seeing where we go with our character.
Yeah, I feel the same way if they were to, you know, open the world up, because I don't think it would be ideal if they were to stay in Hogwarts. I know that, you know, this potentially the series could be called, you know, Hogwarts, you know, whatever, but I do feel like it would be a good idea to expand, you know, go outside of Hogwarts, you know, see the wizarding world as it is, you know, as I think within the lore is called an Aurora, where you're like you're a wizard just out there, you know, doing the good deeds in the wizarding world or whatever. So I would definitely, you know, like to do something like that, like you said. But as far as what else I would like to see next, I would like to see the stakes, you know, raised. Now I know, you know, lore wise, they might be a little hard to write something in there, but you know, they could do it.
Yeah, dude.
they could do it. They could do it.
Yeah, but, I'm sure they got something up to see. I know, like, it gets controversial with like, do they make another one after like this one was already so much in production, and like we didn't even discuss like, you know, the J.K. Rowling stuff and like where that stands, or should you not play this game? And I think it all comes down to like self-reflection and why you want to play it.
Yes.
But yeah, I think if they would choose to make another one, I totally see it because of how successful this one was, probably financially.
Very successful, yeah.
And I think as of the day we're recording this, the last gen console version just got delayed again to like May 5th. So, which is super unfortunate. I'm sorry, PS4 and Xbox One players, man. And listen, Switch players, I feel for you, dog. That sucks.
Oh yeah, I don't even know how that game's gonna run on Switch.
You know what? PS5 should be easier to get now. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's tough to see into the eyes of the studio right now, like what Porky Games wants to do if they want to continue to like go down the road of this franchise. I'm sure it's like a huge cash cow in a way of like, let's keep going. But they might be like, you know what? We had a great time with this one. I think this one is a story that we want, like we told the story we want to tell. Maybe we step away from Hogwarts and see if we can hit like another big IP. Well, it is Porky. They kind of are just Harry Potter. So yeah, you know, man, forget everything I just said. They'll probably make another one.
Well, no, I feel like that it's possible for them to, as far as like the, the story and whatnot, it's definitely possible. I would definitely love to see, something, if they do, stay in this particular, with our character, whatnot, expand his story and everything. I would like to see that, in the future, him older, like we were saying. So yeah, if you could give it, like some kind of rating, like maybe like out of 10, what would you rate this game overall?
I think this is a solid, like, are we doing half points? We doing
yeah, do whatever.
I bet, I'd give this one like probably like an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's such a great game. It's gorgeous to look at. The gameplay is fun. I feel like I was gonna say, like, I have little to complain about when I just like started the show off being like, well, I didn't like this and I think this could have been better and but like, I don't think any game is perfect. I think you can look at any game and be like, man, they really could have changed this, except for Cuphead's like flawless perfection. You can't change anything. It's perfect. But no, I had a great time with it. I'm excited to dig like more into it, and just like finish all these side quests. I have all these Merlin trials I'm still trying to do. I have some of the like combat trials that are sitting around. So yeah, I just the world's deep. There's a lot to do, and again, it's just gorgeous and fun to play. So yeah, I think 8 out of 10, 8.5 or 9 out of 10 is like a good spot for it.
Yeah, I think I might give it maybe an 8, and I would say the main reason I would do that is because there were a few things that I feel like the game could have taken a little bit more time on before they released it, like, the whole fact where you're running around in Hogwarts and you walk into a door and you get that little loading screen. Like,
yeah, that one little like buffer. Yeah,
that got to me like a lot. That was immersion breaking for me a lot of the time. So
that's totally fair. Yeah.
There's definitely some things that definitely need to be worked on for the next game, and the reason why I am giving it an 8. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the game. Like I was saying earlier, the character creation is really what pulled me in as a black man. That really pulled me in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. Yeah, there were bits and pieces that could have definitely been better, but yeah, great game overall.
For sure.
But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you being here, help me, break down this, this game and whatnot. If you want to go ahead and plug your stuff, man, go ahead.
Absolutely. Hey guys, what's up? Nerdstorm's Stormtrooper Army. How you guys doing today? I am CGDannyB. I create content on all sorts of platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. I make all the accounts I can. I've got the Kick account. Have I done anything with it? Nope. Do I have a Hive account? Yeah, but they never let me post. It always buffers. But you can follow me there if you like. But I do all kinds of content related to indie games. I try and showcase indie games that are, what's the big popular game you like? I got an indie game that's just like it, if not better. I got all these upcoming indie games. I love to showcase games that people haven't heard of. And really the goal is just to take away the option of there's nothing to play, because there's always something to play. And that's why you got to play more indie games. So yeah, check out my content and find your brand new indie game today.
I appreciate you, man. Again, y'all do not forget to go ahead and like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications. That way every time I upload a video. And then I usually stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/Nerdstorm92. With that being said, I'll see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day.
Peace.